today's tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be discussing limits, and we're going to be looking at these limits on the screen. The question says find the limits if they exist. So meaning there's a probability of us finding one or two limits here which do not exist. Okay, so if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do so by clicking on the subscription button there, and don't forget to hit the notification button there after subscribing, so that you don't miss out all the videos that I'm going to be posting. Okay, so let's quickly begin to solve these questions. So the first question is the limit of x squared minus 13 when x is approaching negative 3. So this one is just found by replacing negative 3 where there's x there. So we're going to have negative 3 squared minus 13. So negative 3 squared will give us 9 minus 13. This will give us negative 4 as the answer. We move on to this one. So the limit of 8 t minus 5 in brackets and t minus 7 in brackets. Okay, first let me try to explain something on the first one here, so that you know what is happening. Instead of me just saying you just replace x where there's 3, let me explain something. Okay, so if you have a limit like this one, then they ask you to find the value, to find the answer. In short, what is happening here is that you first distribute this limit to all the numbers, or to all the terms rather, in the in the brackets there. So you can have so this one can be written as the limit of x squared when x is approaching negative 3 minus the limit of 13. I was saying the limit of when x is approaching negative 3, the limit of x squared. Then we say minus the limit of 13. I don't know what is happening now. Okay. Right, so I was saying this one can be written as the limit of x squared when x is approaching negative 3, then minus this minus here, the limit of 13 when x sorry for this line, it's not supposed to be there, when x is approaching negative 3. So what you have here is, so this part here is found by replacing negative 3 while there's x there. So I'm going to say okay, let me just remove the line. Okay, so we're going to say this one here, this part, we're just going to replace that with while this x with negative 3. So we're going to say negative 3 squared, and then we write this minus there. Then we have the limit of 13. So 13 is a constant. So the limit of any constant when x is approaching any number, the answer is that same constant. So in this case, the answer is just 13. So negative 3 squared gives us 9 minus 13, which gives us negative 4. Let us quickly move on to this one. So this one, we also just have to replace 6 where there's t there. So we put 6 where there's t. So we're going to have 8, and then we have 6 minus 5, then we have 6 minus 7. So 6 minus 5, the answer is 6 minus 5, the answer is 1. So I have 8, and then we have 1 there. Then 6 minus 7, the answer is negative 1. So here the answer is negative 1, here the answer is 1. So negative 1 times 8, the answer is negative 8. So let's quickly move on to this one. So this one is also straightforward. We just have to replace 2 where there's x. So we're going to have 2 where there's x, we're going to be putting 2 there. Then we say plus 5, and everything divided by 11 minus, while there's x there, we just put 2, to the power 3. So the answer will be 4 plus 5, everything divided by 11 minus 8. So 2 to the power 3 is 8. So 4 plus 5 gives us 9. Then 11 minus 8 gives us 3. So the answer here is 3. We move on to this one. What happens if we put 2 here? So if we put 2 where there's y on top there, we're going to have 2 plus 2. Then everything divided by 2 squared. But of course, the way I'm replacing this, you have to follow this format if you are to get full marks. But it depends with the one who is marking you. If the one who is marking you is fair enough, they can give you full marks even with what I'm doing here. But you have to follow, you make sure that you show that the limit, that you distribute this limit on, to everything that is in the brackets there. So you say the limit of x when x is the limit of x squared when x is approaching negative 3, you write it independently there, and then you also write the limit of this independently there. So same applies to this part. You can, if you want, you can simplify this, you can distribute everything there, then after simplifying it, then you write all the independent limits one by one. So same applies to this one. Okay, I'll do one of these questions according to what I'm trying to say, but they will give you full marks even what I'm doing here. It depends with the one who's marking. If they want you to show all the steps, that's when they will maybe subtract a 1 mark. Okay, yeah, so you have this, and then you replace, you put 2 there, then you're going to have 2 plus 2 on top. Down there you're going to have 2 squared, and then plus 5, and then 2 there, and then you're going to have a positive 6. So let's see what we're going to get. On top there we're getting 4, and then down there we're going to have 4 plus this will give us 10. So we have 4 plus 10, then plus 6. So 16 plus 4, that will give us a 20. So 4 over 20, so there's a 6 here, so 16 plus 4, that will give us a 20. So 1 over 5 is the answer, because we know to say 4 into 4 is 1, 4 into 20, we're getting 5. Okay, so let's quickly move on to the next question. Okay, look at this question here. What happens if we replace 2 where there's x there? We're going to have a 0 as a denominator. So any number divided by 0, that means it gives us undefined. We say it's undefined. So how can we deal with such a question? Let us try to factorize the numerator there. Okay, right, so I'm solving this one. So let's try to factorize the numerator. So I have x squared minus 7x plus 10. So the product here is 1 times 10 there, so the product is simply just 10. Then the sum is negative 7, so the sum is equal to negative 7. So what are the factors? We try to find numbers. Let's find numbers that if we multiply them they'll give us 10, if we add them they'll give us negative 7. And I think these numbers are, we have negative 2 and negative 5. When you add these two numbers we get negative 7. When we multiply them we're getting 10. So let's replace them there. Have x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 10. So when we simplify this part, we're going to have x, open brackets, x minus 2, and then here we're going to have negative 5 as a common factor, then x minus 2 in brackets. So we pick the common factor there, then we write the remaining numbers, terms, x and negative 5 there. So this is what we have on the numerator. So we have, this can also be written as the limit of x minus 2, x minus 5, when, over x minus 2, when x is approaching 2. So you can see that this and that cancels, meaning we're going to remain, they are dividing here. So we're going to remain with the limit of x minus 5 when x is approaching 2. So how do you find this now? Let me distribute it the way I said. So you distribute this limit to x and to negative 5 there. So we're going to say this is equal to this one here. It's also equal to the limit of x when x is approaching 2 minus the limit when x is approaching 2, of course, of 5. So this part here is found by replacing, by replacing 2 where there's x. So we're going to put 2 where there's x there. And then this one, remember what I said, the limit of any constant when x is approaching any number, the answer is that same constant. So this is just the same as saying 2 minus 5, which gives us negative 3 as the answer. Let's quickly move on to the next one, which is this one. Okay, so we move on to this one. So even this one, we do it in the same. Okay, so this one we also solve it in a similar way as we solved this one, except that this one there's no need of us factorizing the numerator. What is just needed for this one is to simplify it. So let us simplify it. Okay, so this one is straightforward as well. So on top there, we know that x to the power negative 1 is just the same as 1 over x. Then we have minus 1, everything divided by x minus 1. The reason why I'm trying to simplify it is because I know that when I replace 1 there, this whole limit is going to be undefined, and that is what I don't want to have. I don't want to have a situation where the limit is undefined. Okay, so let me simplify the numerator first. So I'll simplify it on this side. Okay, so simplifying the numerator there, I find the common denominator first. So the common denominator is x, and then I'll say x into x. The answer is 1, 1 times 1, 1 times this one, the answer is 1. Then I'll say minus 1 into x, the answer is x. X times 1, the answer is x there. So this is a simple, the simplest way you can write this. So I'm going to write it that way. So it's 1 minus x and everything over x. Then I'm dividing everything by x. So I'm saying I'm dividing everything by x minus 1 rather. So I'm saying divide by x minus 1. So when I do this, this can also be written as this, then times 1 over x. We switch this. So this is x over 1, so we switch 1 goes up, then x minus 1 goes down. So we multiply. So when we do the multiplication on top there, we're going to have x minus 1 times that. We're going to have rather 1 minus x times 1. The answer is 1 minus x, and then down there I'm going to have x times x minus 1. So I'm going to have x times x minus 1. So the numerator there, we can factor out the negative 1 from the numerator, so that we have negative 1 plus x, then everything divided by x, x open brackets x minus 1. So this can be simplified further. We can write it as negative, and then we have x minus 1, everything divided by x outside, and then we have x minus 1 there. So this and that will cancel, so just remain with negative 1 over x. So now let us replace, so in short, in other words, this whole expression here is equivalent to negative 1 over x. So I'll replace the whole of this expression here with negative 1 over x. So I'm going to have the limit when x is approaching 1 of 1 over x. So this is just going to be While there is x here, I'm going to replace with 1. So I'm going to have 1 over 1, which gives me the answer to be 1. So this is the answer for this question. Let us quickly move on to the next question, which is this one. Okay, so this question is also straightforward. We also just need to simplify it. So when you look at the denominator there, if we replace the denominator with 2, the answer that we're going to have is going to be undefined, meaning the limit, we're going to say the limit does not exist. But are we sure that the limit does not exist? Let us try to simplify this. If it fails, then we conclude that the limit does not exist. Let us simplify. So let's try to find the conjugate of the numerator there. So we have the square root of x squared plus 12, then minus 4, then everything divided by x minus 2. So the conjugate of the numerator is simply just the square root of x squared plus 12, then we change the sign there to be a plus 4, then everything divided by x minus 2. Oh, I've just remembered one thing. Okay, that one has erased itself. The denominator wasn't supposed to be x minus 2 on the other part. Okay, I'll explain as I begin to solve it. I'll resolve it again. Okay, so on this one, the answer, remember, it was supposed to be negative 1 over x. It was supposed to be the limit of negative 1 over x as x approaches 1. So meaning when we replace 1 there, the answer is supposed to be a negative, not a positive. I don't know if I had written a positive answer, but I think so. A negative, because when you replace a 1 there, you're going to have negative 1 as the answer. So it was supposed to be negative. Okay, let me just maybe try to resolve it quickly. So after simplifying everything, remember there was a part where we had negative x minus 1, and then there was a part where we had negative and then x minus 1 in brackets, then we have x minus 1 down. Where I said this and that cancels, there's also x outside, meaning this was supposed to remain negative 1 over x. This is what I'm talking about here. So what we're supposed to find is the limit of negative 1 over x, then everything, and then we say when x is approaching 1, which gives us negative 1 over positive 1, which gives the answer to be negative 1. So I don't know if this is the answer I found. I can't go back because I've erased everything. Yeah, so in case I found a positive answer, this is the answer that's supposed to be there. Then let's move on to this one now. Let me solve this one and that one, then we move on to the next question. Alright, so we have this one, we have this one here. So I said we find the conjugate of the numerator, then multiply it on both the numerator and the denominator. So let me first simplify this, and then I'll come and introduce the limit at the end. So I'm going to have the square root of x squared plus 12 minus 4, everything divided by x minus 2. Then we multiply everything by the conjugate of the numerator. So I have x squared plus 12. Then we change the sign there. This is 4. And then everything divided by the square root of x squared plus 12, then plus 4. So when I multiply this and that, I'm going to have this first times the first term there. I'm going to get x squared plus 12 as the answer. Then when I multiply this and that, or let me just say, when you look at this and this is the difference of two squares. So the difference of two squares, this is just the same as doing this, minus 4 squared. Then everything on the denominator there is going to give me x minus 2, and then times the square root of x squared plus 12, then plus 4. So on top there, when you simplify, you're going to have x squared plus 12, then minus 16, then everything divided by this expression here. I can't write everything here, so you write everything like that. You write everything up to plus 4. Okay, so after doing that, we can see that 12 minus 16, the answer is negative 4. So I'm going to have x squared minus 4 there, everything divided by this expression there. So I have x minus 2, then open brackets, there is x squared plus 12, then plus 4. Then from there, I'm going to simplify the numerator. That's the difference of two squares. It can be written as x squared minus 2 squared, and then everything, I'm going to have x minus 2, and then I have x squared plus 12, then plus 4 outside. Then this on top can be written as x plus 4, oh, not x plus 4 rather, but x plus 2, and then x minus 2 as well. Then everything divided by this whole expression here. You can write it down here. We have x minus 2, then the square root of everything there. So you can see that this x minus 2 will cancel with this x minus 2 there. So what we're just going to remain with is x plus 2 on top, and then everything divided by the square root of x squared plus 12, and then we say plus 4. This is what we're going to remain with. So we just have to replace 2 there now to find the limit of this. So to find the limit of this when x is approaching 2, we just have to replace 2 there. So when we put 2 there, say 2 plus 2, the answer will be 4 on top. Then down there, we're going to have 2 squared, the answer will be 4. 4 plus 12, this will give us 16. So this will give us 16. So the square root of 16 will give us 4. So this will be 4, and then plus this 4 here. So 4 plus 4. So the final answer will therefore be equal to, let me just write it here. So the final answer will be 4 over 8, which is just 1 over 2. So the answer is simply just 1 over 2. Let us quickly move on to the last question here, which says 4 minus x over that. Okay, so don't mind the way the screen is. I don't know if you can call it blinking. I think the laptop has a problem. So let's continue with this one here. So we have the limit of that. So we have the limit of this when x approaches 4. So how do you solve this one? Let's try to put 4 here. When we put 4 here, we're going to have 4 squared, which is 16 plus 9, that's 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. So 5 minus 5 is 0. Then 4 minus 5 over 0, the answer is undefined. So what we are just supposed to do is to simplify this expression. We can't solve it the way it is because it's giving us undefined. We're finding that the expression is undefined. So to make it to make this expression defined, we have to simplify this expression. So let us find the conjugate of the denominator there. So the conjugate of the denominator will be 5 plus the root of that. So multiply it with both the numerator and the denominator. So we have the numerator there, we have 4 minus x. Then on the denominator, we have 5 minus the root of x squared plus 9. So I'll multiply everything by the conjugate of the denominator, which is 5. Then there's a plus here. x squared plus 9, everything over 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9. So on top there we can write it as 4 minus x, then everything over, this multiplied by 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9. Then the denominator there we're going to have, this is a difference of two squares, so you can write it as 5 squared minus the root of x squared plus 9, then we say this squared. So simplifying this is going to give us 4 minus x in brackets, then we have 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9, then everything over 5 squared, this is going to give us 25, then minus, when you simplify that you're going to have minus, when you simplify this you're going to have x squared plus 9. So when you do the simplification further there, you're going to get something like this. You're going to have 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9, everything divided by, so this will be 25. This negative times 9 there will give me negative 9. This negative times x squared will give me negative x squared. So 25 minus 9, the answer is, so let me write the numerator. So 25 minus 9, the answer is 16. So I have 16 minus x squared, which can also be written as 4 minus x. Then we have 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9. Then everything divided by, so 16 can be written as 4 squared and then minus x squared. So this down here, the denominator is the difference of two squares, which can also be written as, let me first write this numerator. So this is 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9, everything divided by, this can be written as 4 minus x times 4 plus x. So this and that will cancel, so just remain with 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9, everything divided by 4 plus x. So now we can replace, so this is what we have found. So we can now replace 4 where there's x. So let us now write this in the limit format, in this format. So this part, this whole expression here can be replaced by that. So we can say so we can write it as the limit when x is approaching 4 of 5 plus the root of x squared plus 9, everything divided by 4 plus x. So this one will just be found by replacing x where there's 4. So we have 5 plus the root of, we put 4 there, so this will be 4 squared plus 9 over 4 plus 4. So the answer here will be 5 plus the square root of 16 plus 9 there. So we have 16 plus 9, then everything divided by 8. So 16 plus 9 will give us the square root of 25 there. Then here we have 8 down. So the square root of 25 is simply just 5. So this will give us 5 plus 5 over 8. So when you simplify further, you get 10 over 8. Then the answer will be 5 over 4. So this is the answer. Yeah, so if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do so by clicking the subscription button. and also make sure that you click the notification button so that you don't miss out the videos that I'll be posting. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on any of these lines on the screens. My name is Harmtedy. See you in the next tutorial video. Shalom, shalom.